Alright folks, we're back. Thanks for watching. And we're going to be getting into the next game here in just a moment. We're in the lobby for NEWKIAK Precinct. And Solar versus ByuN is going to be the start.
Yep, as soon as Solar says go. So Stats did win over Classic as well. So Stats versus Hero.
Nice. So we'll have this match, then Stats versus Hero, and the winner of all that moving forward. That's going to be awesome. This sets up for a pretty awesome rest of the broadcasts. Again, 3 best of 5s remain is how this is going to work out. But loading into the first map on NEWKIAK Precinct. Pretty excited. These two have fought each other a couple of times most recently, and I gotta say, it's not been so ByuN heavy as far as like favoritism. Solar's actually been showing pretty good matches lately. But I still think, for me, in my heart, my soul, and my partoofs go to this guy. Bottom left side of the map, spawning blue, it is ByuN.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Splice Solar.
That's right. ByuN playing for Team Expert, of course. Actually, I think both teams use the same colors, huh? Like orange and black. Or no, Expert's like more orange and white.
I guess Expert's orange, black, and white, yeah. Their jersey's black and orange.
Well, at any rate, the thing about this I think is going to be so cool is we've had these guys play a lot. The first big ByuN Solar match to me was when you got to solo cast the finals of last season's Ting. And it was Solar versus ByuN going to a really long series. Then they fought each other multiple times on like best of 3s here and there. And I think it was either last week or the week before they were even fighting in the semifinals. So these guys certainly have a history of fighting one another. That being said, though, even if they didn't, ByuN and Solar are just objectively some of the best players of their respective race in Korea. I don't care what GSL results have to say, and I don't care what statistics would otherwise indicate if there are anything contradicting this point, because every time we see them play, they are seriously just on fire and looking fantastic.
There's been one bop, I think, a piece for each of them. Like, Solar got bopped by ByuN once, and ByuN got bopped by Solar once in the past, I would say, month and a half. But, yeah, they're usually pretty good players and pretty evenly matched. In fact, I think it was like Solar got bopped, and then he got revenge, I think is what happened.
Well, Solar's also had some cool moments, too, outside of ByuN. Like, I remember he had to fight against Innovation, and he was, like, nervous and not really wanting to play him. He's like, the guy's a machine, I'm going to lose. And then, like, he ends up 2-0ing Innovation like it's no big deal. So.
Yeah, that's true too. It's felt more like Solar against the Terran, like ByuN and Innovation, than any other Zerg, to be honest. I mean, I know there's other really good Zergs like Sue and well, I guess Dark doesn't really play in our tournaments, but definitely Sue does. But it still feels like Solar is the one that we see most commonly, I suppose, and just coincidentally happened to catch actually facing these guys. So he does have experience against them, but they're always gonna be a fearsome opponent. Obviously, we talked about ByuN in his like recent form, but that didn't really matter against Impact. He just dismantled Impact, no problem. Solar should be just honestly a better Zerg like right now than Impact, but it's just a sign.
Just to talk about builds really quick too, if you remember the last time these two fought each other, ByuN went for the 2-on-1, and it was really easily held. So after that, he started doing the Hellbat builds against Solar and the Hellion attacks, and that's when he started getting the wins. So I'm wondering if he'll go straight to it with that factory coming down. He went for Hellions against Impact as well.
That was so dangerous, like.
Yeah, that Reaper was 9 health dangerous, but
it was good. It
looks like it is just going to be 2-1-1 as the Stimpack starts up back at home. So very standard build coming out of ByuN.
Yes, it is. Reaper Scout's the 3rd base, so no surprises for him. Even if there was, a 2-1-1 is a pretty good cheese all-in defense. If you get any amount of scouting whatsoever. So I certainly like it, and obviously ByuN likes it. ByuN likes it. ByuN should be what he opens up when he retires. And it's either going to be a workout place or like steamed buns.
Unnecessarily super cutesy name. I was really sad actually. So I was house hunting the other day in Richmond. I used to live there when I was younger, and there's this. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. It's an Asian bakery, guys. I don't know what type of Asian bakery, but I remember when we were young, we'd always get coconut buns there, and they were always super good. And I was so excited because I'm like, I'm in the area. I'll go check it out. I got an hour to kill before the next house showing. Closed on Wednesdays, and it's like the sign says specifically every Wednesday. I'm like, are you kidding me? What rotten luck.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, you have ByuN setting up a difference here. First of all, you got another Reaper, which is a mistake. But second of all, He is going for the Hellbat version of this, which is a lot more all-in, and it's pretty tricky to scout, because the Zergs typically aren't even bothering to scout, to be honest. They're like, okay, it's 2-1-1, especially from ByuN. But then even if you scout this, unless you scout it when the factory's changed over, which they usually don't, you don't recognize that they're building Hellions, and you don't scout the armory, and this is only the slightest, smallest tell possible, which is that there's a mysterious lack of second medevac. And I don't know if Solar's going to recognize that.
Well, so that's where I think this gets really interesting, because we pointed out earlier, like, okay, it looked like he was just going for the 2-1-1. He decides to change up for the Hellions. And ByuN has really been doing these, I'm just going to say, like, experimental builds. I say that very lightly, but because he has been changing it up, and he has been doing different things a lot of the time. Like, every series, he tries a different version of a Hellion something. So this may or may not work well. This may or may not be expected, because, again, like, ByuN kind of, you get metagamed a bit when you're, like, playing as much of the game as he does, right? Everyone knows how he plays. If we can talk about it, the players certainly know, but Queens are a little bit low on energy, so this is going to be tough. Not that many transfuses available, and he's not focused firing down the medevac immediately either.
He's starting to now, but then misclicks again, so there it finally goes down, but Hellbat's going to do a good job cleaning up the link, at least making this worthwhile.
Oh gosh,
and the Marine's still alive.
Solar is feeling the heat, and not from the Hellbats, from the pressure that the Marines are causing. With no medevac, there's no staying power, but as we see, Lings are flooding in like 2 at a time, 4 at a time, and it's just not going to stop this.
Oh, no.
Solar's army supply is non-existent. The Queens aren't here. He's finally going to clean up some of this, but now the reinforcements start running in, and new Hellbats transform and roll out.
Yeah. Managed to keep the drones alive, so only loses 6, but ByuN isn't enough damage to certainly recover. He's going to start producing medevacs again. He's going to transfer over that. Well, he's actually have to transfer over the factory, but he starts the 3rd CC, and even combat shields is finishing up for those future Marines. So unless Solar had a lot of like Lings right now, like 20, 30, maybe even 40, a counterattack could be problematic, but he doesn't. You know, he lost all of them.
The Liberator got a couple of drone kills, which was nice, but I really love that he had set it up over the larva too, so he's killing the eggs. Killed like 6 Lings worth of eggs. It doesn't kill the Lings, but it still keeps them from being made, which is a pretty big deal. Liberator will, on its death shot, take out another Queen too, which is nice.
Yeah. Cleaning up creep, getting an Overlord. The biggest downside of doing this for ByuN is, of course, the lack of medevacs, because he also followed up with a Liberator, but also the lack of upgrades. So Solar will have complete dominance in that area for some time.
Yeah, and of course, Baneling's finally out is going to make this a little bit easier to manage. The hardest part about this for the Lings is that they can't really bust through the Hellbats so easily. So you get a couple of Banelings, you roll through the Hellbats, and the Lings can take on the Marines, and it's a bit easier to trade out, again, with no medevacs here.
I thought he was going to try to prepare the Banelings, but ends up not being able to do so. Gets cleaned up, but still probably worth for that tiny little run by. Solar's so stuck on 32 drones, is just going to all in at this point, but he's been making Hellions, and he got a reactor on the starport, so medevacs are on the way. ByuN was afraid of just the Baneling attack, so he even has a bunker. I don't think a counter all-in's going to work.
Well, lots of Banelings morphing in. I think, bunker aside for the moment, if these Hellions stay in Hellion mode and not Hellbat mode, I think, yeah, ByuN's already got the defense started really well, taking out a lot of these Lings. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's no way that this works in any, like, you know, it doesn't, unless it lasts a long time, which it's not even going to do initially.
He didn't even raise the wall, didn't need to. He's confident in that defense. GG, Solar kind of got baited there, and ByuN will take game number 1.
It's a surprising build, so I'm glad ByuN did it.
Yeah, it's also cool because it is this weird dynamic where when he was doing, like, again, I really want to emphasize, he was doing regular 2-1-1 builds against Solar in the past, he was losing, so then, like, it seemed like out of desperation he went to Hellions and Hellbats. I like that he opened up the series with this because it just feels like a direct continuation of the last time we saw them play. It doesn't even feel like there's a gap in time.
Yeah, I guess so. Solar, I mean, that's, like I said, a very tricky build, but even if you know it's a possibility, to actually scout it is something very different. Like, you would actually have to dedicate to an Overlord or 2 for Suicide, or get Overlord speed, which no one really wants to do in TvZ, since it's kind of a figured out matchup.
I'm a little bit sad because I know that Snoot was actually pretty consistent about it for a while too, and it's really cool watching him get all that information.
Yeah, he is, for sure. He would have scouted that.
Well, it was Solar's map pick. The BTSL does allow losers picks, so you get a little bit of an advantage to try and come back. And he went with Cactus Valley. This was kind of interesting because this is not a great 3x Reaper map, but it's still one that might have it happen. I don't know if we got shout-outs to these folks. Solar was Terran. Awkward. But thank you to Robbie Blitz for the 11-month resub, SC2 Dan for the 2-month resub, and Superhero 15 months. I think I got most of this just to be safe because I wasn't quite sure. And then Mr. Boris Makarov throwing 20 bits our way. Thank you kindly. Someone in chat requested that we enable health bars always, please. And my answer to that is a hard no. I think it looks very messy and cluttered, and I'm not a fan of the way it looks. And I don't like watching streams that have it on myself. So I do apologize, but that's not going to happen here. JB25 also just hit us up with a 6-month resub. Thank you very much, kind sir. And while we get into the lobby once again, I guess this is the one opportunity I would not be too shilling out in terms of talking about Twitch Prime, because this is a tournament sponsored by Twitch, powered by, whoops, wrong direction, powered by Twitch. So I forget to point the right way sometimes. So if you guys are feeling like it, if you're feeling up to it, if you're feeling generous enough, and you've got an available Twitch Prime sub, I would certainly love it. But for those who don't know how that works, once a month, if you're using Twitch Prime, like, the best part about Twitch Prime is you don't get ads, right? Like, let's be honest. Some broadcasters aren't responsible with their ads, and not having to deal with that crap is a blessing. But if you guys do love the channel, consider throwing our Twitch Prime sub our way, because it's free, it's once a month, and you don't have to pay anything for it, which is always the best part. When something is free, it's usually pretty nice.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to start citing things like old blankets at the garbage dump.
I was like, ah!
Okay, most things. I was like most things. Okay, there you go. The asterisk. But
okay.
Anyways, game number 2 underway. Semifinals number 1 for the BTSL. It's the first BTSL. This is the season 1 finals. Season 2 is gonna be next month already. And in the top left, he's leading 1-0. It is ByuN.
In the bottom right, as the red Zerg, he is Solar.
Now, of course, just to bring up the prize money once again, these folks, all playing it from this point onward, have earned at least $50. $50 is nice, but second place gives you $100, and first place gives you $200. So quite a bit more on the line the further you get into it.
Yeah, it's a nice prize pool for sure. And these guys are already in the money. It still is going to be a lot better to actually get to that finals.
Yeah, and the really cool thing about this too, but I know we keep bringing up this thing, Twitch sponsoring it, powered by Twitch, yada yada yada, but we have budgeted this out, so we have 12 months of this, guys. There's really, unless something happens to both of us at the same time, there's no reason this shouldn't happen every single month. So I really hope, truly, you guys have enjoyed this first month of the BTSL. I hope you enjoyed December's fun little Make Korea Great Again that turned into the BTSL, and I'm hoping that the rest of this year we're going to continue to have great tournament, great participants, great signups. I mean, having ByuN and Solar play is always a treat, but we saw some zest throughout the last couple of months, innovation show up here and there. Like, I'm really hoping to see more of that as the year goes on.
Yeah.
I mean, goodness sakes, look at our other semifinals, Classic and Hero.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy to see that as many Protosses are actually making their way through, and in really fun ways.
Excuse me, Stats and Hero, Classic lost, my bad.
The point is, it's a Protoss.
Yeah.
Whatever, they're all the same. But yeah, I'm really happy to see all the Protosses. But I was gonna say, right now with all the IEMs going on, I guess there might be, for any of these open tournaments, like maybe less of those names. It is. I know Zest was up all night for the North American qualifiers.
Yeah.
And I don't think he'll be playing in the Korean ones because of it.
North America.
I think he won.
North America, well, there's a whole dynamic where, like, players are invited, but they're still playing in the qualifiers and kind of take spots away from other. I don't know. IEM's been a bit of a mess, we're gonna be honest, but yeah, these guys are playing everything they possibly can from every region because there's no region locking for it. BTSL is open. I guess we'll just, for those who don't know, haven't been following the tournament, it is open. Anybody from any server can come play, but it is priority over on the Korean server, so it is the toughest of the tough.
Yeah. No, I keep forgetting, like, the origins of this. Like, I'm glad this experiment worked out. We were like, is there really room for another Korean-based tournament? Because now all the Koreans are free, from Guestwood Jail. And we were a little curious, but it worked out actually really great in terms of, like, viewers. You guys like it, but also in terms of the sign-up, which is what we were hoping for. So, That's pretty cool. I'm certainly happy. Like, I actually woke up today of my own accord at 5:30 in the morning, and I'm not sure why, but I feel fine.
Because you were excited to cast the BTSL monthly finals.
Actually, I have a story about last night of the movie that we watched. But
well, hang on, before you do, the armory comes down, and this is gonna look pretty hot for ByuN. Yeah. Once again with Hellions, once again with Hellbats, and he's sitting right outside Solar's base, ready to push it any moment.
Yeah, and Solar doesn't know and is not prepared. Now you can defend a Hellbat all-in, like an old-fashioned just Hellbat all-in, with queens, but they have got to get into a place where they can micro far back. You know, they can't be all confined together, and you do still want some support.
I mean, it's also the Hellbats are, as dangerous as they are, a little bit more just the tanks of the Marines. Usually the Marines are the true scare. Even if it's only 4, they bring a lot of damage and they hunt down those queens. Solar not having a lot of transfusions available is already pushed back to his ramp. This creates a little bit of a choke, I guess, but still, as we see, the Hellbats have no problem firing away into said choke. Micro and the Marines in the back keep them alive from the Lings. Medevac finally goes down, but ByuN's still pushing.
The queens are in that position where, like, they almost ran out of places to micro because they would have been off of creep had they gone up any further, but there was 5 of them, so ByuN actually decides to disengage. That's still, I think, an effective opener. You delay your stim, you delay your 3cc, you delay your upgrades as well. But Solar also does not have upgrades on the way, and he did have to make a lot of Lings instead of drones, so, like I said, I think it's okay. Maybe even good? We'll see. It's still a follow-up attack, and this is something that Solar did make a couple of roaches for, but thinks he needs more, so...
That was some really fantastic focus fire on that Liberator, by the way. Queens might go down for it, but the roaches should be able to hold what's left.
He should have gotten that last queen, but yeah. It was, but it put those queens in that position of just getting, like, clumped up and taking a lot of damage. A little dangerous.
So here's the question, though, right? Solar last time, I'm not sure felt pressured or thought there was an advantage to doing a counter all-in. This time around, he is droning. Do you think he dedicates to the roaches with a counter push, or do you think this is just like a poke he's doing across the map?
I think it's a poke. I mean, last game, he really had to. He was down in drones. Like, he wasn't going to remake them fast enough, even if his upgrades are good. But this game is different. Like, I would be surprised if he just didn't go into roaches at all after this. Like, the roaches were only for the defense. But we don't know. He's still getting evolution chambers in a lair. I love drones. That's a good defense. Tanks
siege.
Good.
Yeah, I like that. I like that siege tank positioning too. Bunker's gonna try and salvage. Barely gets it in time. Nice.
Yeah. 75 minutes.
Oh, ByuN though, it's so sad seeing no medevacs out because he's got nothing healing, and because it's building a reactor, he's not gonna have any medevacs soon. So these poor Hellbats pulling SCV or something. Oh, he did. There we go. Repairing up the Hellbats best he can, slow and steady.
Not bad. Solar starts a Spire but cancels it. Oh, that's actually kind of expensive cancel. And he only did it so he can get his Bailiness immediately? Oh, I don't think it was worth it.
And I don't like that he's put them both over here at the third. This is a very exposed location.
Okay, well, he is going to go for the melee upgrades and Mutiling Bling, but he is bothering to upgrade the roaches he already has. Like, just a sprinkle of roaches is not too uncommon. It sometimes can actually be very helpful, but sometimes it's just, like, for units. We'll see what happens with that, actually, but... ByuN is going for tanks. His upgrades and all that are even. The macro it's a macro game at this point, right? But I'm wondering how the tanks are going to do on Cactus Valley. If you get into one of the positions near the bases, I guess it's okay. But the walk across the map, cross spawn too, there's a lot of opportunities for Solar to get us around. Like the unsiege tanks, even the siege tanks can still have a good concave.
Yeah, we don't see people take it too often, but if you remove the rocks in the middle of the map, especially, you get that grease spray going too, it's gonna be a lot of maneuverability for Solar.
Yeah,
there we go. It's gonna start taking them down. I like that.
Oh, nice. ByuN's pushing out right now. This isn't really the strongest force. Like 2 tanks and this force on like overgrowth, I think is actually very scary. But I'm not sure about Cactus Valley.
Well, so a couple of important things just happened. One, Solar saw that coming to Watchtower, backs away immediately. But he also backed away just out of ByuN's scan range, so ByuN didn't actually see any of Solar's army. He has no idea. Is this a lot of roaches, a lot of ravages, a lot of banelings? It's a bit of guesswork moving forward. So Solar does have a minor element of surprise, as it is a considerably large army moving in. But focus fire the tanks on top of the banelings. They're going to connect. Tank's going to go down. Lings have us around, and I think, yeah, he'll push this back.
Yeah. I really question that. That felt like an automated thing that you're used to doing on, as I said, like other maps where you can reinforce a little bit faster. Maybe there's a more abusive position for your tanks.
Yeah, like the third to the natural. on
yeah,
Overgrowth.
something like that. But like while that tank on the high ground looked good, it wasn't a good enough position to really hold it for that long. Like Solar did recover from the earlier Hellbound attack, so that was kind of bad, to be honest. Like ByuN does dip down quite heavily in supply, but the game's not over.
It's a little bit odd, though. I mean, we're seeing contested shells come out, so he's going to have those for the Marauders. A bit of slow here and there's not going to be too bad. And, of course, you want to be able to soak Banelings. But those Mutas now pop out, and Solar's going to be getting on the offensive finally. Keep in mind, he's been deflecting ByuN this whole game. He had a minor poke, but it didn't even go into the natural. So, for the first time, really, he's going to get some counterattacks done. And there's no turrets up from what I can tell. I don't think ByuN's ready for this at all.
Oh, he's probably thinking he might pass the Fortification Pit. Reacts pretty quickly.
Yeah, but there's the maneuverability of the Mutalisks. And they catch those new medevacs if they're on top of it really quick, too.
Oh, God. Cactus Valley was actually pretty notorious for Muta harassment if they could get to Mutas. And two-base fire, in fact, was like pretty popular on this one.
Well, action all over the map. Those drops on the third rain to the main. Solar's already trying to respond. Mutalisks still flying around, and ByuN took some damage, but now he's dealing some, too.
Yeah, ByuN really is trying to get something done here, but as soon as he loses either of these drops, it's like not worth it.
Okay, I love the boost to this location. If he had stayed where he was, the Banelings would have caught him. So Solar, nice try, but unfortunately ByuN is wise to your tricks.
Interesting point about Cactus Valley. There's a lot of space that might look like you could drop or you could hide, maybe, like in the corners of the map, but it's not real. It's covered by like fauna and stuff.
How can the corners be real if our eyes aren't real?
Oh my god, but anyways, it can be a little deceiving if you think you can escape, but you can't. But that was good, yeah. He went to the main base and got away. ByuN's upgrades also are like really good. They were pretty close with 1-1, but then ByuN just started with immediately. Solar had to fit in Baneling speed and a lot of mutas. The muta count might pay off at 18. They're pretty good.
Yeah, and look at that supply count. I mean, Solar just really skyrocketed, not just in terms of drones, but with the 4 base economy from all those drones, army maxed out, lots of Banelings ready to fight. ByuN scans this and he knows what's waiting outside of his base. If these Widow Mines get good enough hits, Solar could get totally screwed and we start race balance whining, but right now, this isn't so good. He's going to lose those Mutalisks. He's
4? 5? Almost 5.
It doesn't feel like focusing on the Marines was worth it, but he does keep the drones alive, so that's kind of good. Again, like, Solar's economy has been kicking ass. Look at the income graph, right? Like, he has been nailing it on money this game.
But ByuN has managed to catch up an army supply. Now he's only down by 10, and those Widow Mines could get really great shots.
Well, Overseer's...
I think Solar... yeah, okay. Solar realized that's okay. I'm not that far in the lead, because he probably thought he had done a lot of damage.
Yeah, I think if he had realized, if the Overseer was up there a little bit sooner, he would have seen just how many Widow Mines were planted in too, and he wouldn't have bothered running in. But now it's starting to bait ByuN a little bit closer to the creep, but most importantly, away from the rooted Widow Mines. Nice Baneling connects 2 said Widow Mines, but does he have enough to deal with the bio? Mutas aren't going to be able to carry him through this. Focuses on the Widow Mine. Pop still goes off on the Overseer. Picking off those medevacs. Ravagers trading with the Marines. Solar's army supply still dominating, but his upgrade's looking pale in comparison to ByuN, so he's pushed back from the middle of the map.
Oh, the reinforcement really helped. And yeah, attacking right before 2-2 kind of sucked for Solar, but he did attack in the middle of the map, so he has a lot of time to make more Banelings if he didn't have any, which he does, as well as reinforce with some Lings too. I don't know if ByuN knows about the 5th base.
Solar did manage to kill a lot of medevacs from that attack, so there's not that much healing in the army right now. And of course, one of them is even one Glaive Worm bounce from dying, but oh, it's scary because Solar... it's not simply moving into this army. He knows it too. He doesn't want to get caught by a bad Widow Mine hit.
Oh god, no. Oh, yeah, that Widow Mine did not get a shot I thought I was going to.
I didn't get a shot at all. I was like, what's going on here? But
yeah.
Banelings, of course, have to run through Marauders, which is difficult to do. Marines do get caught on the left side, but the Mutas get caught on the right side. Marines are shredding through those Mutas, but Solar ends up destroying ByuN's main army and pushes this back. Supply now 86 to 49 when it comes to army.
Severe lack of splash, and honestly, there could have been better splits, but I think the lack of splash is really going to do him in.
Cleaning up those medevacs was nice. Solar's got 2-2 across the board, including some on his Mutalisks, so a little bit of upgrades there is always good to have as well. But ByuN had, what was it, like 8 or 10 Widow Mines before? Now he's down to 4.
Not sure where they are.
There's like one here and like a couple there. Like, I don't know, they're spread out, and they're not really consolidated with the army. Banelings roll in off of creep, but still get some good connections to those Marines. Roaches are doing a surprisingly great job of soaking hits and distracting for the Banelings to roll in, but Oh god, corpses are flying, Marines are dying, but Solar's income, and overall, just his supply looking too good. He killed the 4th with the mutas while that went on, so I was so busy focused on the banelings, but nice comeback as Solar ties it up now, 1-1. Very nicely done. But it's been 2 games, so we're going to just quickly shove a commercial break in so we can get it over with quickly and get back into the action. We'll see you all for Game 3 in a moment. All right, folks, welcome back. We're just going to hop directly into the load screen for the game because we are ready to go. Proxima Station is the one that's got that really cool background to it, but maybe you haven't seen it yet. It's still fairly new. We'll go over the map in just a moment, but this is a best of 5. Things tied up now 1-1 in this first semifinals match, and in the upper right side of the map, he's going to be the blue Terran, ByuN.
In the bottom left is the red Zerg. He is Solar.
But yeah, in the background at various parts of the map, when you're looking, you can see the planet below, and it's really cool just kind of seeing like the horizon of the planet in the background and stuff. It's really cool. I like it. There was another map, I can't remember. There's a Terran one though that was like the city was below it. You could see the trucks and the Vikings and the traffic, and it's like
yeah.
I really appreciate those cool backgrounds.
Some people pointed out that there's been planet backgrounds before, but there's something like, I guess like the planet's a little bit closer on this map, or
it feels like almost Mass Effect-y too, with the way it's like cresting.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you can see it a lot more like to the left of ByuN's base, for instance. I think there's a really cool shot.
Oh yeah, you can see the Vikings flying underneath it too. Yeah, it really does give it the space station feel, Proxima Station.
Yeah. Well, it is a map with a pocket expansion. ByuN does not go for a CC first. Solar takes the forward expansion to get the creep spread going, which I think will be like kind of common on this map pool, and things are looking normal. There's really no reason to 3x Reaper on such a large map, but also there's just no ridges for Reapers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not a connection to the main. There's like no easy way to get up here.
So there's, obviously no reason to proxy racks, but more importantly, for like other matchups, there's just not, getting Reaper in the base is going to be really difficult to do. So we might see more like just Marine opener expansions in this map. We'll see how it develops.
All right, well, during the break in the start of last game, you started talking about some movie, It Follows. And the only thing I can think of when you said this, by the way, was that's basically you, actually, when it comes to the observer camera, because it follows me around.
Follow you over. But trust me, this wasn't because of the thing that happened. It's not at all similar. Thanks to Alif on the wind for the new Twitch Prime sub.
Twitch Prime tournament powered by Twitch. We appreciate you.
So It Follows, for those of you who don't know the premise, I guess it's an older movie apparently. You're looking it up, like 2014. It's kind of cool because you can't tell exactly when it sets. There's a lot of ambiguity. Whoa, I canceled Roachborn. Well, anyway, but
because he scouted the natural, or he scouted the reactor, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway, the premise is basically like, if you have sex with this person who has the monster following them, then it kind of goes to you, and it's like the world's worst STD.
Okay.
So
when you were described as a monster STD, that's literally what it was. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Like this monster will just, it's really funny too, because I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it, guys. I was with my friends.
Like is this like a werewolf type monster? Or what are we talking about?
No, it's like a human. So they were like, don't worry, it's really not that scary. Like if the monster actually came after you, it would be a slow walk. Like it's not like jump scares. It's not that scary. And I was like, okay, and that's really what it is. So the chick has sex with a guy, and he has to convince her that it's real. So he kind of like ties her up and goes kind of like weird on her. And he's like, this will follow you no matter where you go. Eventually it will show up again, and it's going to walk towards you, but eventually it'll find you, and if it touches you, you die. And if it kills you, then it's going to come to me, and it goes down the chain to whoever first produced it, I guess, or whatever.
Oh.
So it's in the best interest of the person that transmits it to educates the next person. So that's like kind of the problem, to be honest, of the main character in this movie, is that she never bothers really educating the person that she tries to give it to, or she tries and the person doesn't believe her because she doesn't actually show them that it's like, really creepy. It's just like a person, and the person can look like anything, like a loved one or a stranger, but you just see them walking towards you. So you start to get paranoid of like everyone who starts walking towards you. Like it was pretty well done, but it also was just a hilarious concept because you watch the movie and it's like, oh, that's super scary, but then you say it and it's like, oh, it's kind of funny. It's very
It reminds me of this. I want to see it was Tumblr or Reddit. I don't remember, but this thing where like you're given like $1 billion in immortality, but you have like a snail that's following you. If the snail ever touches you, you die. Kind of sounds like that premise.
But the trade-off here is that you had sex one time, so I'm not sure it's quite the same.
That's like a praying mantis, right? Like gets eaten after sex. Didn't matter have sex.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the attack commences. It's Hellbats again. We kind of kept an eye on this, so it wasn't anything too surprising. The Spine Crawler is a welcome addition to the defense, as that's a great thing to have to transfuse, but the Queen's taking a brunt of the damage, and of course, they're the ones with the transfuse energy. A couple transfuses, got to keep something here alive. Queens or Spine Crawler, take your pick. Solar, great defense, and that's Spine Crawler MVP.
Yeah, that certainly helped. Solar's gone for a 2-base Spire as well, as he never took the 3rd base, which is now going to be a very safe base. And ByuN, I don't think he knows that. He did not scout the main to see the layer timing, and there's nothing really to be told from the natural. Now, Solar doesn't have a lot of larvae, I suppose, or a lot of money, so it's only 4 mutants at first. But if he just bulks him up for a second, there's potential that he gets a like really big surprise on ByuN.
You know, another big thing that went on with that attack for the Hellbats is it didn't kill a lot of Queens like it normally would. So there's actually quite a few to come back and defend. If this wasn't a 2-base Spire, the Queens could easily push off this Liberator. Not to mention, as you see, Spore Crawlers are set and ready. Start taking some unnecessary drone losses, but honestly not the biggest deal. Spine Crawler's still up over here. Ling's looking to drive off some of the Hellions. Nice catch on one of them. Big surround.
Not a bad idea from ByuN to do that. It's a good thing he paid attention to the Hellions. You still want them. The mutants have obviously been revealed, and ByuN is even getting a couple of Vikings, just in case he really had trouble defending. I don't think... Well, no, he probably would have, because he doesn't have a reactor on his barracks, so... Those probably are necessary, combined with missile turrets and Widow Mines.
Well, Hellions getting picked off in the middle of the map by the mutas does cause them to get distracted, so they're not going to be across the map as quick as possible. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, killing the Hellions is a really nice peace of mind for Solar.
Yeah. By the way, that movie, the #1 thing about it is I just am so curious, because my tweet is like, when exactly is it transmitted? Like, is it just guy and girl?
What if you wear a condom?
Is it like unsafe sex? Like, is there a moral to this story? what if it's like group sex, all right? Like, who gets it first? Like, who gets it in the chain?
What if you wait till you're married?
Well, it doesn't matter. Like, even if you wait till you're married, the guy's just been like, dodging this random imaginary person, it's still gonna happen to you.
Yeah, but love conquers all, or something like that. I don't know.
Something like that? Okay, sure.
It's a movie.
Sure.
Hashtag cheesy. Those Widow Mines, by the way, did get a couple of muta kills. In fact, I think 3 in total. Yeah, they killed one each, and then the splash damage killed the one that was low. So that was a nice pickup out of ByuN, accidentally or on purpose. Either way, well positioned. Solar has not continued to invest in mutalisks beyond this, so plenty of roaches on the way, and he's actually investing in the range weapon upgrades. This is an oddity to me, because roaches and Ravagers started falling out of fashion. Roach, Ravager, Hydra even isn't that big of a thing. I'm not sure why you would want to do this.
I'm not sure either. I think that this big map would play pretty well to Mutiling Bling. And then also, of course, a lot more people are playing Mutiling Bling. That's definitely more in fashion, so... I don't know. It's just, I guess, what Solar, wants to do. He is going to time it up well for this attack. +1, Roach speed, Ravagers on the way, and ByuN might just not have the units ready right now. He does have, I think, 1 tank. His Marine's going to scout this. I think he'll be able to escape.
Because someone wants to fall back to, too. Overseer's on the front line, so he should be able to take care of that. It's going to get a nice hit. Lots of splash damage. 3rd base just being picked up already. Abandoned ship.
He's going to try and hold the ramp, and this might just work out. That tank did a lot of damage.
Yeah, but the Mutalisks, unfortunately, had to sacrifice themselves, too, to give the high ground vision. The Overseer is so far behind, so if you wanted the Corsair Gear to hit the tank, Solar had to way over-dedicate to this. Now, Solar's army supply is still rocking and rolling at 90, but this is not an army I think that's going to effectively take this on.
Nice focus fire on the Ravagers that were low. Even going to get some of his roaches eventually. He saw the Widow Mines were burrowed. That's a nice shot to push the bile.
Yeah, but this is a tank shot going off.
Yeah, Solar is not doing, I think, enough with this push, but it is still questionable. He gets the medevacs.
Oh my god! One more Corsair Gear would have sealed the deal on those 2 medevacs. That was scary as hell. He's looking to bust through the backside. It's wondering if he's doing the rocks. It's not an escape path, but he wants to actually take the fight to this rock path and get into ByuN's natural.
I don't think it's going to work. Like, at this point, it does seem like
look at
ByuN
the tanks.
has enough
They should be able to set up and be in range, right? Yeah, they'll be in range on most of these.
not going to work out, but this is useful, I think, for all Zergs to break down these rocks given the opportunity.
Yeah, just have that in the, like, as an option, I guess. In fact, you know, if he does take down the rocks, things like Burrow and Tunneling Claws could combo well if that's the direction he's heading. He does have Burrow on the way, but that also might just be the heal up for the time being. +2 weapon starts as well as the Infestation Pit, and I'm still at a bit of a miss as to the choice to range here. Like, are we going to see Swarm Host pop out and be a surprise? Like, I really don't know what's coming up for Solar.
I'm probably just going to go to that Hive and maybe Greater Spire. He does have a Spire, and this is something that you would do if, you know, you had roaches available as well. And you're upgrading the roaches still, too.
Oh my god, that medevac. One shot from death.
ByuN will have 2-2 and even 2 on his vehicle weapons, and he continues producing tanks. He might even have 5 or 6 tanks by the time he's ready to push out, and that's quite a hefty number. There's not a ton of chokes or ramps on this map, which is a point against tanks and 4 roaches, I suppose, but there are still places to put them. It's not the worst map. It's not like the wide open Cactus Valley that we saw last game.
Infestors. This is what I thought this might head towards, but I wasn't sure because it's fallen out of style months ago. But I mean, fungal growths and corrosive biles were what some of the best foreign Zergs like NEWKIAK were doing to defeat ByuN back in the day. And it's a combination that I think is certainly still deadly if done correctly. But here's why this has really fallen out of favor. I'd say, like, this fell out of favor before this happened, but I want to stress, Siege tanks made it back into the matchup, and Siege tanks dealing 70 damage a shot are going to keep those Infestors so well zoned out. The plus side is Infestors can now cast from well burrowed, so maybe you'll sneak some of those in, but just generally speaking, the tanks should make sure the Infestors never get close enough to them to really do anything threatening.
This is the tank position that I was thinking of, really, when I said there are some positions for the tanks to do okay. They're not touching the hatchery, they're not even touching the army right now, but they are a safe space for the Marines to pull back to. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Not really sand sharks, just land sharks this time.
Yeah. Fall on Cactus Valley.
Sportcore takes out the medevac. Several drones die amongst several bases. Solar does push out to try and break the tank line. It looks like he'll do just that. Grossopile's landing on the high ground. That tank's dead. That tank's dead. 2 remain, and that Bioforce not quite holding up to this, and Solar's going to push in really hard. Fungal Growth's going to catch the medevacs, and the Grossopiles land on these medevacs. That's a big loss for ByuN.
Nice. Now, funnily enough, that gave these 2 tanks like 6 more shots, so all the roaches ended up dying.
I know, oh my god.
But at least it took out most of the medevacs. I'll be able to save them. 18 drones went down, I guess, with that drop.
Yeah, it was a combination drop over here, and of course the one that went to the main, but 18 drones, not too bad when you're already on 4 bases. Another fungal growth waiting underneath this too. There we go, catches one of the medevacs. Nice start. But Solar's really rolling on this one, and ByuN is now the one who's in a bit of trouble. His army supply is really lacking, and it's a lot of Marines, 9 Marines at a time, not bad, but you want some Marauders in this mix versus these Roaches. More tanks if possible, but of course medevacs above all of that, and these corrosive biles landed on most of the bile. Look at hit some more of the medevacs if they move forward. Oh, he's got to be careful. Solar's just kind of overwhelming at this point. He's swarming in with these Roaches and Ravagers.
Yeah,
there's the
attack in the
fungals.
middle of the map. Too bad for ByuN.
It looks so good with the positioning he had too, but GG's. Solar now with a 2-1 lead in the series. And of course, really want to drive home that it's a best of 5, so it's not over yet.
Oh, Solar has to go to the bathroom.
All right, we'll give him a couple of minutes. Normally, we wouldn't put an ad break in so quickly, but since one of the players has gone AFK, we'll just squeeze it in real quick, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes while ByuN thinks of what map he wants to play next. All right, folks, we're back. Thanks for watching that quick break for us, but we're getting the game started, and we're hopping into SHIR Vestige for map number 4. Again, if you're just joining us for whatever reason, it is currently 2-1 in the favor of Solar. All All right, and of course, we do have the other semifinals still waiting behind this through Stats and Hero, a PvP. So it is guaranteed versus Protoss in the finals. It's just the question of which of these two players makes it to those finals. He's my favorite guy, and he's unfortunately on his last life. In the top left side of the map, we have the one and only, the ByuN and only ByuN.
In the bottom right is the red Zerg. He is Solar. I don't think he has any nicknames.
So are you serious? So
what is his nickname?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, Sol, are you serious?
Oh.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. It tilts me so much when people call him. Like, I know there's really no distinction, and this is such a Rifkin problem. But just hearing Solar versus Solar, like people put like a lot of emphasis in the R. Like, it's Solar, and I'm like, nobody says it like that.
Yeah, who says it like that?
Couple of casters, not gonna name names, but it's just like, for me, I'm like, this is the equivalent of the croissant versus croissant like dynamic. We're like, why are you saying it like that? Stop saying it like that.
Well, the croissant dynamic is whether or not you want to sound like a, try hard French. Solar is definitely an English word.
Yeah, the sun gives us power.
Yeah, clearly.
Well, Solar putting down the fast pool. Probably just the two links to go across the map. We see this dynamic all the time where you want to just kind of play, I guess, jukes with the Reaper. The idea, of course, if you can get those links around and ignore the Reaper, sometimes the Reaper will come across the map and scout, and if that's the case, and your links pick off this SCV, and it's annoying. Rarely game ending, never that bad, but certainly a nice move from Solar to open with.
Yeah, delay nats. Yeah, just a little bit for that third base. Be dangerous on, a proxy or 3-racks map, but Belshire is not. It looks like ByuN's gonna go into Hellions once again. It's not too surprising considering the last couple of games.
He's had some pretty astounding victories with Hellions. They've not looked that impressive in this best of 5, but we've actually seen him make them look quite good in other series. So, I said normally this doesn't get so bad, but seeing the depots down, he decided to go for it. He's not going to kill the SCV building the command center, but killing that Marine's going to be really annoying, as it's the only form of defense. I mean, the SCVs are pulled, but it looks like they'll clean up the links.
ByuN's like, yeah, 3rd CC sounds amazing right now.
Why the hell not? It's not going to get scouted. The Overlord was pushed off.
Taking damage.
Oh! Solar's using the Total Biscuit voice pack. I just checked by accident. Hang on, I got to confirm that. Yeah, you have a new queen.
Amazing. I'll be the one to appreciate that.
Is ByuN still just using default? He was using default last time we heard him. I'll keep an ear out for this. I think that's so funny that Solar's using the Total Biscuit one though. I'm not hearing anything out of ByuN yet. Come on, ByuN. Show us what you got. Show us what you got.
Upgrade complete.
He's using the default. Although, is that new? The Command Center upgrade complete from the Adjutant? I don't think there used to be an orbital finished alert.
I'm not sure. I feel like there's so much else going on, you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, most of the time, right? Like, that could have actually been happening every time for like the last 4 years and I wouldn't have noticed. But drone pull helps kill the Reaper, so nicely done.
Who really won?
Have you, by the way, so I've got the Total Biscuit voice pack. Have you played with it yet?
I've not heard it at all.
Okay, every race. I don't really care for the other lines. It's like whatever. I particularly love though. Total Biscuit is really mean about you getting supply blocked, and not like yell at you mean, but more like passive aggressive mean.
Well, what does he say?
There's just like a ton of different lines, but he's just really mean when you get supply blocked, man. And as someone who is regularly supply blocked, I just feel like Total Biscuit's always mad at me or disappointed in me.
All right. I do like that all the other voices have passive-aggressive comments towards other races that you play. If you have like Artanis and you play Zerg, he'll be like, filthy queen is ready or something like that.
Yeah. They put some good personality in the voice packs, that's for sure. Anyways, there's quite a few Hellions heading down to the lower left side of the map. Solar, of course, he's got quite a few lings out, but they're on the other side right now. The depots are down! Oh, this could be problems for ByuN. Okay, gets him up the last second, but Hellions are also on the wrong side of the wall. Meanwhile, they're trading out poorly with these queens. They could turn into Hellbats. There we go, now they're Hellbats. And looks like he will get this wall off completed. Oh, that was certainly a little bit scary for timing. Banelings finish up too, and looks like Solar will hold this attack.
Yeah, it wasn't that dedicated of an attack, though, so... I mean, he did scout the 3rd CC, and he knew that. He still had to make quite a few Lings, and even a couple of Banelings, and is now even supply blocked. Oh, Solar. Well, this is being mean to you right now. Apparently.
Should have kept the voice thing on. Of course, listening to what you're observing, you can only hear the voices they're using if you've got their vision checked while they're triggering stuff. Okay, well the Baneling Bus gonna come at us. Solar, I don't know about this, Zombie Girl. The bunker's done behind it. There's Hellions aplenty. And oh, he's even putting like a little wall choke too to the bunker. This is not gonna be a super effective attack out of Solar.
No, I don't think so. It feels a little... It may just be he thinks there's an opportunity because he did kill the Hellbats, but ByuN plays it safe and continues to get more Hellions until he has enough Marines. And diagonal walls out on the way? Okay.
This is just like an extra layer of armor for the command center, I feel.
I guess so. Now there's the real wall. So the game continues. ByuN does have stims, have to start combat shields, still waiting on the starport, but now getting his 3rd base. And Solar, he's at a fine drone count. He cut for, you know, periods of times, but added up to be fine. Really his layer, I guess, is the latest thing.
I'm 100% just listening to Solar's voices while we wait for ByuN to do stuff. I want to hear my Total Biscuit come in.
Okay.
Although I should probably wait till the layer's complete. It's not really anything going on before then, so never mind. ByuN is pushing towards his 3rd and looks like he should be able to secure this with the army that he has. Beforehand, it was a little bit awkward because, as you pointed out, like he thought he killed like the whole army with those Hellions dying, and rightfully so. So the attack was a little bit dedicated. It failed, but it was kind of understandable why he went for it.
Yeah, I don't think it was devastating. Solar's still fine. Got the creep spread moving out, 4th base being taken to the left side, and you do want to continue pushing creep pretty hard on that point. Because
you are fresh out
kind of, it almost has the Vani effect, where that 4th base can just be like one scan, all the creep is gone, suddenly it's a really difficult point to keep.
Your
but
tumors are under attack.
Actually a little bit different in terms of like the map layouts. It's not quite natural to cores as it is on Vani.
Yeah, small frame hiccup there, folks, so don't panic if you saw that, because I saw that too. But Medevac's boosting way through the middle of the map. I mean, control of the watchtower. Solar's had some pretty good eyes on what's going on in this game. He's also got overlords over here too. There's going to be no surprise attack out of ByuN. I mean, the other part about watching his vision with the Total Biscuit voices and all that is like you can see what Solar sees, and he's seen so much of the map.
Very good vision.
Those savages
Got even another counterattack trying to head in, but ByuN still has his Hellions there. Trying to focus fire on the Banelings. Really work out.
Yeah. I didn't even mean to have Total Biscuit's voice on for that one, but it lasted for a long time after turning off vision. Alright, this attack pushed back, speed finishing up at any moment, but not quite ready yet. These Banelings, unfortunately, are caught for that sneak attack, so there'll be no running into this base. And I really like that ByuN has taken a lot of effort to put these walls down. He really doesn't want to get caught off guard by Solar's Banelings just casually rolling in.
Yeah. I'm betting he's taxing imports from like their colonies to build those walls.
Topical humor. I get it.
ByuN is actually looking quite good. Solar's got his 2-2 on the way, but still behind that of ByuN, and his mutas are on the way too, but with ByuN pushing out, they're probably going to be used defensively first. And ByuN has this 20 army supply lead, so... Let's talk about SHIR. Like, it looks like he's going to need maybe 2 scans to clean this up, so that's good news for Solar. And his army's already prepared. Plus, he'd have to clean up the right side creep too, because you don't want the, you know, full surround going down. ByuN's got to be careful.
Well, as the attack pushes out, I mean, there are a good number of Widow Mines for this. They get the Baneling hits, won't be problems. He catches the backside with those Widow Mines. Hits aren't the most amazing things we've ever seen, and now the Marines are in dire straits. They pick up, fly away, Mutalisk giving chase, and that boost is about to run out.
It still looks like enough. His reinforcements are close enough as well that he will hold, but that was a nice defense by Solar. The Widow Mines really didn't get any great shots, and, you know, the surround concave that he had was pretty good too, so... 2 attack was done, I guess, without attack, but it didn't matter.
This is another game, by the way, where Solar's economy has really been fantastic while this goes on. ByuN's been keeping up at least, but it's 3 bases versus 4, and of course Solar will probably hop across to that 5th on the right side once he's got the creeps right. In fact, as I say it, Hatchery gets planted down. ByuN's going to be so busy looking to the left for this fight, I think Solar's hoping he just will get away with this without it being noticed. Wishful thinking, though, because Marines are already checking to see if the base was taken.
Well, that meter counts at 13 with +1.
No cancel.
That sucks a lot. I was going to say, could take on those Marines, but they didn't.
Yeah,
they could also counter.
When Solar had the +2 on the Mutalisk weapons, it really went well for him the last time as well. So I'm worried, but at the same time, a couple good win-on-one shots could just absolutely wreck them. So we'll find out how that looks as time goes on. Bailey's going to get some decent connections to the Marines, but the right side of the map has caught the attention of ByuN, and he's heading back home to try and deal with this.
Trying to get that wood of mine. Get that wood of mine too.
Yeah, nice focus fire out of Solar with those mutas.
He manages to pull ByuN's army entirely back. If he cancels this 4th base, that would be fantastic. And I think definitely worth the Lings.
Oh, that's going to be painful for ByuN to deal with. I mean, we saw it go down so quick. It's mutas +2 Lings on top of it, almost full surround. That really sets ByuN back. It's getting to that point where if he doesn't get a 4th base down soon, he'll have to float his main over, and that's still going to interrupt his economy. And it's like, it's something you can do, but it's not something you want to have to do.
It's not ideal. It's a band-aid fix. This is quite dangerous of ByuN to put it on location. I mean, he realizes that Solar's going to need a 5th, so pushing towards his 5th is not a bad idea at all. And there is no creep spread over here, so Solar not really ready to take it. Might be overextending in his defense of it. Nope.
It's so triggered by chat right now.
Right?
Everyone makes better jokes than Rifkin. Zombie makes better jokes than Rifkin. None of these are true facts. These are all alternate facts.
Yeah, exactly.
What am I going to splash some of the SUVs, but it does clean up the rest of the Lings, so peace of mind to ByuN. His 4th base being planted on location. Wonder if he'll make that a planetary. I'm going to imagine he makes it a planetary with how far out and extended it is.
Yeah. And if he had the minerals, he'd probably also put down like 3 or 4 missile turrets just to make sure it's completely safe. The meter count has grown to 22.
Yo, we just had the #1 DreamHack admin sub to the stream. Stajo, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for joining us here on the stream tonight. Hope you're having a good time.
Nice. Thanks, sub.
Yeah, thanks, sub. ByuN dog thing. Bailey's crash in. It's on creep this time, so we get some better connections. Mutalisk flock in from the right side. Catches ByuN a little bit off guard, but the supplies are still holding even for each. The thing I'm a little bit more worried about this, I think those Marines are a little more effective than the mutas are. Widowmine's planting down. These mutas got to be careful. They fall back. They're scared, to say the least. Then Solar, he's trying to trigger the Widowmines with these Lings. Muta's trying to focus them down, but splash damage going down. Units getting hit. Solar's army just running a little bit dry.
Losing the mutas like that. Losing 10 drones as well with a couple of Marines off to the left. Solar needs those Lings reinforcements. Come on.
15 mutas died. That really sucks. Solar had a really nice big count of mutas. This flock growing, but unfortunately, desperation requires that he throws them into the fray of battle to buy time. Not gonna cut it. GG. ByuN 2-2.
I really didn't think he was gonna break Solar, who still had a decent army supply at the very end. I guess it was all making.
All right, well, that means it's going to be up to Solar to pick the final map in this best-of-5 semifinals. I'm really glad this went all the way. We're going to go to a small commercial break before we get into this final game, though. And once again, thank you to both Stage 2 sub just now and a Leaf on the Win and Amenthi. I think that is everybody that we've missed. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, everybody, thanks for watching that commercial break. Part of the break was also giving the players a moment to breathe. So we are waiting on Solar to ready up and ByuN, but looks like, hey, speak of the devil, there we are. So, Abyssal Reef will be the final map. Wait, no, that was the previous round. That's right. So this will be Abyssal Reef will be the final map in this best-of-5. I had a double take moment there. I'm like, didn't we just play this? But no, that was Impact and ByuN in the round of 8. This map has some really cool physics, by the way. This is, without a doubt, going to be Rifkin's favorite map of this season. I'm calling it, guys. Best map of Season 2, 2017. Bottom right side, we got the blue Terran. Give it up for ByuN. Just tied it up, 2-2.
In the top left is the red Zerg. He is Solar.
So, by the way, I gotta say, I am forever envious of Tasteless. I didn't get to watch it live, so I missed it, and I was going through all the Reddit threads, but that Alive intro was so fire, dude, where he's like, Stan, and it does like the Korean voice. It was so perfect. I am sad knowing that in my life I will never have such a perfect intro. It's almost like I have nothing to live for.
I'm very sorry.
Tasteless killed Rifkin, guys, and he doesn't even know it.
I didn't watch it. I figured I knew what it was. It sounds amazing.
Well, I gotta say, Solar playing really well in the series, just generally speaking, but ByuN, I don't know. Like, I feel everything I would expect out of ByuN isn't really happening, but instead it's a lot more of these scrappier fights. We're not seeing him do 3 different drops in 3 locations. It almost feels like this is a guy who is so used to being a Super Saiyan, he doesn't know how to be a normal human being anymore, and he's stuck being a normal human being.
He's like Hercules after he shook hands with Hades.
Oh my god, and he lost his like demigod powers.
Oh my god. Where's Meg? Let's push her over.
Dude, from hero to zero.
Right? Who did he save? Who did he deal with? You know, and who's he trying to protect? Let's go kill her.
Man, I don't know.
Harm. We'll never know. Damn. Maybe it's his puppy. Oh, I don't want to harm a puppy. It's too sad. Like, grown adult, maybe I could do that. For the sake of StarCraft 2.
One of the post-Hercules appreciations I had was I didn't really care much for Danny DeVito. You know, growing up, he was not an actor that enticed me. Not as the Penguin, not as like the twin, Arnold Schwarzenegger. But when I started watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I fell in love with him. So when I went back and watched Hercules, and I was like, oh, that's Danny DeVito! Hell yeah!
I liked him in Friends as the stripper. It's pretty. That was interesting to watch. Danny DeVito pull half of an arm off, and then arm sleeve off, and then.
I thought this is gonna be like pulls his arm off, and that's why you always leave notes.
Not quite.
Alright, well, the Reaper being a little bit annoying. Nothing too crazy, but he's also not scouting into the main. I guess there's a cliff over here he can take, and maybe that's just what he's waiting to fall back to. Because he did catch the drone trying to move towards the 3rd, so he knows that that's not been started up.
Yeah. It should be the 3rd off to the left for the Zerg, at least. We saw a Terran player take it in the middle, which may be a good idea, maybe not. We'll see how it develops. But ByuN is going for a Hellion build, and it's not going to be 3cc. Well, it's not as quick a 3cc, I don't think.
Better to take it in the middle than from behind.
No, that only vaguely makes sense.
I'll take a lewd pun where I can find it.
Okay.
But actually, I'm really excited to see some of the physics on this map. Again, like if siege tanks come out especially, we're going to see lings go flying every which way. We saw something cool. There's that highlight from earlier. If someone saw us, that link available, like the lings from this morning, the actual literal firework. But the Reaper gets taken out, and there's not going to be a lot more scouting out of ByuN. He is, however, back at home, not showing any armory signs just yet. It's tentative. Looks like it might be a normal. No, it's not going to be a normal 2-1-1 because he starts the medevac for transferring. So there are going to be Hellions coming out of this.
Yeah, the first thing that he did, which did surprise Solar and get him almost a free win on NEWKIAK. So will Solar be surprised again? I think that's a yes. His overlords aren't moving into scouts. Is that's really the only way you're gonna see it. Like even if a Ling comes in here, there's still a normal amount of Marines for a regular 2-on-1.
All right, ByuN. This wall off is so simple and strange. Again, this map just has a weird dynamic when it comes to walling off, but I guess the idea is that the army can focus through a tiny little choke, and he just covers his right side at the same time.
I guess, yeah. The Hellions are moving forward. We have a Liberator following suit. He's really trying to hide the Hellions from any overlords that his medevac would be able to see, but Solar hasn't placed any in the middle.
I like that he tore down those rocks, too, by the way. Opening up that ramp's very important for Zerg, I'd say, more than Terran. You don't want to give him that choke for the Hellbats to sit in either, but Bailey Nest is pretty far off from this. Medevac, oh, that's really bad. Takes a lot of damage before the fight even begins. But this is a game where Stim's ready to go, and he gets on top of the Queens as fast as he can. Medevac tries to fall back, but ends up running into another Queen. So same problem, where ByuN's got a really great army, but no Medevac to support it.
The Hellbats actually get taken care of, too. So another Link Flood is going to be good enough.
Whee!
I think Solar has defended fine without banelings even. You know, the queens are plentiful enough, and the lack of medevac really hurt.
Yeah, that was something too where like the medevac, okay, it took some damage early on, but it felt bad because he thought he was pulling it back to safety, and another queen just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, surprise. But he'll use the Marines and the Hellbat to escort the Liberator, instead of sending the Liberator straight to the main like he's done in the past. The Queen still focused it down though, and once again, to quote TLO, like, if we can't fly, then nothing else can, and they keep tearing everything out of the sky.
Baeling's coming just in time to help take out the Hellbats, and these Marines can't stick around without medevacs or Hellion support. And ByuN still has to transfer his starport over to a reactor, and these queens transfusing, getting more energy. Solar obviously going up in upgrades. Solar's in a much better position this game than he was on NEWKIAK.
Yeah, but ByuN's also got a much better attacking force too. A lot of this was falling flat, and you know, all the Hellbats and all the Marines were cleaned up in each wave. Unfortunately, he's been able to compile these a little bit, and Solar, say what you might, he's still in some trouble. No spine power to fall back through this time. A lot of these units are low, but not quite dead, and that's the problem. If you could just finish off some of these Marines, get some of that focus fire and one Baneling connect, his life would be so much easier.
Right? Like, he's not made enough Banelings. It's totally reasonable to see ByuN sniping those. But he tried. Now 5 Banelings is probably enough with the Lings. I guess all the lava finally popped. He lost quite a few queens. There's only 2, and none of them are injecting.
Wow, yeah. 8 having died total. This kind of reminds me of when Snook goes 10, except none of those die.
He's got to get his Banelings together to make it harder to focus fire.
Yeah. It's certainly a tough spot to be in. Solar's really on the brink of dying here. ByuN's not really in so much danger himself, but he is pretty committed with these attacks.
Ah, he's got Hellbats. I mean, more Lings are on the way, but Solar, like, he can't spend his money after losing the queens, after having the queens on the front line for so long as well, and ByuN is barely making this work.
I can't get over these physics. I'm like more distracted by the corpses flying away than I am what's going on for the actual fight. Go to space!
Oh man, Solar is really... You'd hate to lose a game like this when you have so much money. He's now supply blocked, so finally an Overlord popped, but he's still very close to being supply blocked again. I mean, at least he remembered to throw down a lair, but he still hasn't started his 2-2. Well, I guess it makes sense. He didn't have the lair. So even though his upgrades are so far ahead, ByuN is catching up.
Yeah. If ByuN... I'm really worried too, because we talk about how many queens have died, but ByuN's lost a couple of medevacs going into this. This one's pretty dry. There's really not that great support, but again, the army just keeps bulking up in such big numbers, and he's compiling it from one attack to another and constantly keeps getting away with it. Banelings having cleaned everything up. Focus fire once again. Not many Banelings remain. And the Marines looking like a little bit of focus fire might just be enough.
Oh my god. Any amount of Lings helping out there, and then one of these Banelings finally hits. But Solar's still barely holding on. ByuN has a 3rd base now, and is catching up on upgrades. So even if ByuN doesn't win right here, ByuN is now in a really good position.
Okay, why do the physics underwater seem to have less gravity than space? That's what really gets me with this, right? You're on a space station. Proxima station, literally space. There's no gravitational rotation. There's no gravity.
Oh, that's because it's a station, and there definitely is gravity. Like, they put artificial gravity on the station.
Through what, a gigantic gyroscope that we can't see hidden beneath?
Yeah, of course. Like, why would you build a station and not put artificial gravity on it? They'll figure it out, guys. No ceiling necessary.
You'd be better off convincing me they were just like all magnetized or something. All right, Lings managed to run.
That you do, man. Like,
what are your physics settings at in your settings?
What am I looking for? Graphics?
Yeah.
I'm on high.
My physics are on ultra. Try putting them on ultra. Put them on ultra. I think it'll be worth it, dude. It's really fun.
Suggested extreme. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, your computer's good, girl. You got this. That run by, though, I gotta say, sorry, silliness aside for the moment, Solar got a lot of SCV kills through this. It's now 62 workers to 48, and while ByuN was putting pressure on before, ultimately it's Solar who actually did the damage.
Solar also manages to take in +2 carapace, where ByuN has not started his 2-2 quite yet, despite having an armory.
Ooh, that could be a problem. Looks like Bailey managed to bust through that sort of semi-wall he had set up, or semi-wall. Marines, please!
Oh, the Marines just stopped.
Well, I guess it's better because if they had chased, they wouldn't have caught them. Not so easily, at least.
Oh, a bit of a supply block as he loses supply depots.
And the new depot's coming down, won't be able to be repaired, so these Lings might just be able to auto-attack them down. one set up on the right side, split off, but looks like, yeah, not gonna happen.
Oh, they don't even bother.
Like, hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye.
Solar seems to have stabilized, and maybe even then some. These counterattacks have really worked out. He's finally getting his creep spread because he has queens again. He has 10 queens. I'll never be at a loss of queens again.
Well, I also like that he's got the infestation pick coming down. Well, I don't think he's in a position to really rush out to ultras or anything. I just like that his tech's not getting stuck.
Yeah, that's true. Solar, I mean, only at 60 drones is not super great, and it took him a while to get there, obviously, with everything going on earlier. But ByuN is stuck on 3 bases, so he's moving his third or his main over now to get forward.
Macro king he is. He's got to do better than just that. He's got a big fight in his hands on the other side of the map, but he can't stick around too long. Medevacs pull back. Bit of splash damage, and queens do shoot them down, and this is... it's interesting, because ByuN's been the one constantly pushing into Solar, but with such minimal attack, Solar is, again, doing like so much more damage to ByuN than ByuN's done to Solar, realistically. I mean, the resources lost look very skewed, but that's just because of the early game. The last few trades have actually not been too bad for Solar.
No, they haven't, but it still is scary to be, I don't know, 12 minutes in the game and down, you know, an upgrade with an even army supply, which ByuN is now even a bit ahead.
I'm not sure if you have to restart the game to get the new physics to work or not.
I don't think so. Like, I've gotten bigger explosions, but they're still not as hilarious as you think.
Like, my favorite thing is watching when a corpse starts doing flips as it's, like, going away. You're like, in death, I've become a gymnast! Farewell!
I've seen it. Still waiting.
Alright, now this is where some of the chokes on Abyssal Reef might start working out better for ByuN than Solar, necessarily. Solar's heading towards that high attack, which to me says eventually trying to get to Ultras and other many things. And while that's normally a good thing, Ultras with Lings do best in an open engagement area and not through these funnels and chokes. So this is where ByuN, if he starts moving towards Liberators and has Widow Mindset down and good kiting, I think Solar's going to have a hard time taking these engagements. Also, this united Queen front, I'm proud of you, ladies, and I'm all pro-feminists, but get some help from the Lings, please! He ends up burning so many transfuses to hold on to one drop.
Ladies are born, you know, they have intrinsic transfuse for each other. It's true.
Someone needs to do like a really bad Photoshop of that classic like girl flexing or whatever, like the Bombshell Factory, but with like a queen face on it.
Cool. Like which arm is going to be the one that's holding
Get that dead faced, what's her name, Isha or whatever.
Yeah, she would be the poster child. She got the face. Alright, so Ultras are on the way, but I agree with you, like they might not have a great time on this map.
A bad case of resting queen face.
No, not quite.
Yeah, we'll see if the Ultras end up even getting to the point of where they can fight or not. Because Solar, well, he's got a lot of Lings. He doesn't actually have that many Banelings, and this overall supply in army not keeping up with ByuN. And where he had a really nice worker lead early, he's been bleeding out drones here and there. So he's down to 54 workers. This base under attack, and the Queens, they still got some transfuses, but as we see, ByuN's targeting the one with the most energy.
Oh, the mid attack goes down. Solar tries to get us around. But it didn't really work out, and now Solar is at almost half the army supply.
If he had a better bank, we'd see Ultras come out, but he's forced to make more Lings. He makes one Ultra. That's all he can afford to do. This drop's still struggling to clean this up because he's not really microing it. This base gets killed, and Solar's starting to find himself in a lot of trouble. Hot water this deep in the ocean.
Oh, there's gas geysers. Huh. Yeah, this is looking like game over for Solar. You see a couple of Ling corpses. That was actually like an explosion right there.
Well, these three guys are like the Beatles going to space. I was gonna say, like, ByuN really didn't start off this series looking that strong, if we're gonna be honest. I was actually really worried for him at a point too, but maybe a bit of warm up, maybe he's got those hands flexed out, he's good to go, and his macro has hit a home run here in this final game. He's watching this rally of units stream across the map.
It does certainly help the position he took his third base.
Well, you know what? This Ultra...
No.
Never mind. It doesn't... I saw all the Queens. I didn't realize how low they were in entry. I was going to say, there could be a lot of transfuses there. Might be the Ultralisk who didn't die, but never mind. GG. Yep. ByuN will take the series 3-2 and move on to the finals. But now we get ourselves a PvP with Stats versus Hero. And while we haven't seen nearly as much of Stats as we have Hero, I gotta imagine that this is gonna be a bit of a cheesy matchup. I'm hoping it will be, at least. Some dirty, gross things possibly going to happen. But we'll be getting into that in just a minute. They've been waiting a little bit of time, so we gotta poke them and make sure they're not super AFK. Stats is away from the keyboard right now, for example. But it would have been cool, actually. I didn't consider it till just now, but if we had gotten Stats versus Solar in the finals, it would have been a splice-off, so to speak. And that would have been cool to see. But we'll see if Stats can represent Splice in this finals, or if it'll be Hero from Root who takes it. Because I do want to differentiate. This is Root Gaming X CJ Entis Hero, not the Team Liquid Hero. Or X Team Liquid, now Revolution. You guys know what I'm saying. Anyways, stick around. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Small commercials coming at you, and then we'll get into this other semifinals match. Thanks for watching.